reading from Gilbert Sorrentino's Aberration of Starlight. She wanted to get in the car and go away. Tom drove fast. The roads were dark and almost deserted. The wind bubbled in the half-open butterfly windows, and his arm was around her shoulder, his hand on her breast, squeezing it softly and persistently, almost as if she imagined it. Oh, how wonderful it felt. Her eyes closed. His thumb slid over her stiff nipple and revolved around it, sliding smoothly over the fabric. They were moving slowly down a small grass-grown road under black trees, stars between their leaves and branches. Tom stopped the car and turned to her, pulled her close. The time. It must be 1 a.m. But he was kissing her, and she opened her mouth wide. Tom, he was kissing her. She could taste sense in, and then his tongue slid all the way into her mouth. She sucked on it delicately. Oh, Tom. His hands were opening her dress. And then he had the breasts free of her brassiere and slipped and was kissing them alternately, licking her nipples, sucking them. He was moaning, and she moaned too, smiling crookedly in the dark, her face burning. He was pulling at her skirts, pulling them up around her hips and trying to get her step-ins down. No, Tom, no, please, not now, not here. He stopped, but continued to caress her breasts, suck her nipples, and she lay back against the seat, dizzy, breathing hoarsely, aware her skirts were still bunched around her hips and her thighs open. He said, "Marie." He said it again. He wanted her to look at him. She opened her eyes and turned. He had pulled his pants open and exposed himself. It was sticking out of his pants, so big and stiff, and he pulled her hand to it firmly. She grasped him tightly, and he moaned and took one of her breasts in his hand and sucked just the point of her nipple. His other hand crammed in between their thighs, but she wouldn't open them any further. She began to move her hand up and down. "Love, love, love," he whispered. Marie was whispering too. "Tom, my dearest." How big he was. She felt filthy, like a slut or a tramp, and imagined how she must look with her clothes like they were, doing what she was doing. But it made her more excited, and she moved her hand faster and faster, put her other hand into his pants so she could touch his balls. And then Tom sat up suddenly, his thighs wide open, and he had his handkerchief over himself, and she could feel him spurting, and he breathed and grunted through his gritted teeth. Her hand was all wet and sticky. She was moving it up and down, doing it like a tramp until he leaned his head back and sighed. Oh. Oh. Okay, that's our reading for today.